Hey guys, it's me again, and I am leaving the mall. And if traffic cooperates like I think it's going to, then the video to follow is going to be a lane splitting how-to. Why? Because everybody keeps asking me about it, and it's a hot topic with all of these motovloggers and other bikers that don't even get onto YouTube. Is lane splitting. Everybody's fighting for its legality, and as far as I know, California is the only state currently that accepts lane splitting as legal. Now, CHP released California Highway Patrol, for those who don't know what CHP stands for. We call them chippies. They released a statement expressing some general guidelines for what constitutes safe lane splitting. Basically, the guidelines say if traffic is slower than 30 miles an hour, then you're safe to lane split, that you should never be moving more than 5 miles an hour faster than the guys that you're lane splitting with, and to always do so in the leftmost lanes on the white line, not to be jerkily changing lanes from side to side, that kind of thing. And so I figured, what better opportunity to show you guys how to lane split than to go hit some California traffic. So that's what we're going to try and do right now. So we're going to hit the freeway at approximately 6:10 on a Thursday evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's still like super bright daylight out right now. Doesn't feel like evening yet. But hey, whatever. That guy's carrying a monstrous sign. Can you guys see that? There's a huge sign. Anyway, bear with me while I sit through a couple of lights. And we're gonna go play with some lane splitting. I love California traffic. It's lovely, really. And I'm wearing a hoodie, which is a bit warm for right now. Hopefully when we're moving it won't be so bad. Now the cool thing about lane splitting is bikes are constantly in motion when they're lane splitting. So I'm not often late places anymore because traffic doesn't hold me up in the same way it would hold up a car. Light's still green. It's my turn. Haha. The benefits for lane splitting are such that here in California, no matter how many bills have been proposed to get rid of it, lane splitting seems here to stay. Bikers basically unanimously agree that it's safer to lane split than not. Forgive me while I cross the double yellow, but there's more bikers, so you can get a feel for what I'm doing as well as what they're doing. As bikers, we all kind of agree that lane splitting is safe when done properly, and that it lowers the risk for the rider by putting us in control of our situation on the road. That's basically what it boils down to, is if I'm aware of the cars around me, I can make an educated decision on what to do about the traffic. If I'm between two cars, I'm less likely to be tailgated and hit from the rear by a car. And without going into details, there are several studies that seem to support that idea, that there are less rear-end crashes involving motorcycles in California because we're allowed to lane split, so we can effectively get in between cars and get out of the way. I'm noticing that this guy ahead of me is not waving to other bikers, and it is frustrating me. But anyway, I'm sorry for the jaw-jacking. I'm just kind of killing time till we hit the more congested area of this freeway. But what you'll probably notice is that I will slow down a little And I'll basically stay in this leftmost lane. I'm not going to cross the line too much. I'll ride the line, but what I'm watching is people's steering wheels, like the front set of wheels on the car to see where the car's going to move, and I'm watching their mirrors so they don't take my head off. But for the most part, I'm going to stay in this leftmost carpool lane. I'm not going to go juking over the line over and over. I'm not going to try and ride on the reflectors because it affects my handling. And what you'll see is that for the most part, the cars don't do anything. They don't move over either direction, either away from you or into your way. For the most part, they'll just sit still. And I can do this comfortably with one hand, although I'm not going to because that can be dangerous. Some guys will move out of your way. Not very often, but sometimes. I like to wave at those guys because they are paying attention and they're looking out for my safety by giving me the space I need. I always appreciate that, like this guy. So I like to wave at them and let them know that I'm aware of what they're doing. You'll see these guys ahead of me are basically doing the same thing. They're not crossing lane lines too much, unless it's to avoid a mirror, like that guy. And for the most part, they're not speeding. They're not moving uber fast through traffic. They are moving faster than the flow of traffic, but that's the general idea. We get out of the way by lane splitting. Whereas if I was in a state where I couldn't lane split, where I legally wasn't allowed to, I would be contributing to the congestion right now by sitting in line, by waiting with everybody else, instead of doing what we're doing, which is essentially using the bits of road that the cars wouldn't be using anyway. And so this is lane splitting. This is a typical Thursday afternoon for me if I'm heading home from work right about now. It's just filtering between the cars, trying not to endanger myself. And you'll see that when there's an open lane, the bikers like to use the open lane. I typically stay in my lane. And now that the traffic's opened up a bit, we'll speed up. So that's lane splitting for you. I hope that gives you guys a bit more insight into exactly what it is that your state's fighting for, if you're in one of those states where they're working towards it. If you're not, maybe it's time somebody filled out a petition. It has its dangers, but so does driving. And when done properly, it's an effective way to kill congestion, and it's an effective way for the riders to protect themselves. I don't think this guy knows I'm behind him, so I'll catch you guys on the next one.